The voice of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
ASEAN Breakfast Call. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hey, good morning. This is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And you are with us again with the ASEAN Breakfast Call. And of course, we at Durian ASEAN, we will try to cater as widespread and as interesting news as possible from Southeast Asia and on Southeast Asia's perspective.
Yes, and also tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and
today is the eve of the Christmas Eve.
Yes, that's right. We can put it that way as well. And it's so close to the New Year's and also Christmas, and the long break is coming up. I'm sure everyone out there is excited, but there's still a lot of things happening in ASEAN, and we want to let our listeners know what's happening around here.
People are excited because of the public holiday. Well, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do during Christmas Day?
Probably go to my friend's house and have some dinner.
Aww.
The usual, and exchange gifts. The very classic Christmas.
That's lovely. For me, I might visit my heritage relative / my heritage at the Portuguese settlement.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Interestingly, I seldom go there, so I'm actually quite excited to meet all my relatives from there. So around Southeast Asia, I mean, and also around the world, I think people are having the Christmas spirit, and but at the same time, you know, like even with the Christmas spirit, we do have like really weird news coming in and out of the international news, and I'm talking about I don't know you watched the trailer or not, the interview, but it is about a story on North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Yes, apparently somebody is trying to assassinate him in the movie, of course, not in real life actually. And what's interesting about this is so many people are actually involved. North Korea is involved, the US is involved, Sony Pictures is of course involved.
Crazy.
And they've all come together now to give their own statements about the incident.
So, which camp that you are in? Just kidding about that. But it is crazy because, I mean, it's really bad enough for those hackers, which we couldn't, we until now we couldn't identify whether they are from North Korea or they are just some crazy people doing crazy stuff out there. But the hacking definitely has cost Sony a lot in terms of their branding and their position, and not just Sony, but also in terms of certain celebrities, as you all know, the infamous leak emails of conversation between Sony executive and some of the directors and actresses and actors on gossiping on certain celebrities. For example, did you know that they actually call Angelina Jolie as spoiled brat?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to read all the leak. They bad mouth a few celebrities in the leak emails between the Sony executive and a few directors and actors and all that. And George Clooney, apparently back in early this year, he was actually quite anxious and quite scared of the media if they reported badly about his movie. Yeah.
That's some very interesting facts about our Hollywood celebrities.
Yes. So there's another outcome of the hack on the Sony hack, sorry. But on the other side, which is even more severe, is the relationship between North Korea and the US, and somehow North Korea has stand on their own and say that, hey, we have nothing to do with it, but we do want to help you guys to do the investigation. If you guys don't want to include us in the investigation, bad things will happen.
But it seems the US are pretty positive that the hackers actually came from North Korea. Of course, it's not been proven yet, but that's what the FBI's said according to their preliminary investigation that's being conducted.
In fact, President Barack Obama accused North Korea of cyber vandalism. This
Because
is the
they
first
broke
time I
into-
actually heard that word.
And the president also said that United States will respond proportionally to the attack on Sony without giving any specifics though. So we don't know how exactly they're going to retaliate against North Korea. But he did say that they will do something about it if North Korea takes an action. And Sony has also come forward and said that they actually do not own the movie theaters, and what's being played in the theater is not really up to them. And
You mean the Sony executives?
Yeah, yes.
So what is your conclusion out of this? It seems to be a hype for the movie itself. I mean, after this whole series of accusing each other, like who did the hacking, at the end of the day, it makes me want to watch the movie. Like, what's so interesting about this movie?
I doubt they will be screening the movie at all after this, though. And there's also a little list here about what you need to know about the Sony hack. And it seems that Hollywood, the first one on the list is Hollywood is more terrified of North Korea than any of us are.
Isn't it? I mean, that is just crazy. The way Sony reacted to this hacking thing, they seem to be more scared.
And unfortunately, Arlene, they have cancelled the Christmas release of the film. And
Cancel or postpone?
they cancelled because they are afraid that it's going to prompt some attack from either party. So you're not going to get to see the movie unless you can also hack into Sony's system or something.
Oh my god! Oh shit!
Yeah, I probably won't go through all the 9 things on the list, but that was the most important and interesting one. So
thank you, North Koreans. Okay, just a bit of a side news besides the North Korean news is the news about Kylie Ng, which is one of the most successful Malaysian young entrepreneur. He's part of the 500 startups. Unfortunately, he's stepping down from Magic Board. Magic is an initiative by the Malaysian government to spur creativity, innovation, and also entrepreneurship among the younger generation.
And it seems apart from him, the Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center also kind of that was his post actually on the board of directors. And Magic declined to comment further on whether or not there will be more changes to its board of directors. And also when they were contacted by a few news agencies, they said that it was an appropriate move, but he remains involved with Magic on an operational level. So he has stepped down from the board of directors, but he will still be in charge of most of the operations that take place.
Ooh. So that means
That means
that means
that he is not exactly out of Magic.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say actually. So, I mean, whatever it is, I just hope all the best for Magic because we do need, to empower young people to be more involved in entrepreneurship, in creativity and innovation. And it's a great thing for people to actually focus on that. And talking about creativity and innovation, well, not really innovation, but definitely is part of the focus of Malaysian government next year, which is ASEAN 2015. Guess what? We have a website from the
right.
ASEAN 2015. What do you think of it? Do you like it?
Well, it looks pretty colorful, very interactive, and I hope people will go to the site to learn more about Malaysia being the chairman of ASEAN 2015 because like we keep saying over and over again, a lot of people are still not aware that there is even an ASEAN chairmanship that's happening year by year, which is why we are here to enlighten our listeners. So hopefully more people will go to this website and get all the important information and updates that they need.
So the website is called ASEAN2015.gov.my. It's initiated by the Malaysian government. if you go to the front page or the home page of the website, you will see a huge title called Malaysia Chairman of ASEAN 2015, Our People, Our Community, Our Vision. And it's quite a good website in a way. I mean, it's still very much new, but it has all the basic information about ASEAN community, from ASEAN political security community to ASEAN social cultural community, and of course ASEAN economic community, which is now being spoken by virtually a lot of people. I mean, they have no idea what the hell it is. So if you want to know more, what is ASEAN economic community, you should go to the website.
That's right, and we will of course have the link up soon on our website as well, and all our other social media platforms.
So I'm actually quite excited to I mean, I'm just quite excited that the government of Malaysia actually started this website, because it's really due. I mean, people want to know about things that matters to ASEAN, and if the awareness is late, then people might not even be bothered to go to the website. But thank goodness Malaysian government set up this website, and I hope
and
people
it's just
can
in time for the new year.
It's just
for
in time for
2015.
the new year. Yeah, I mean, I just give example when I click the ASEAN Economic Community link, and it straight away bring me to this page where it has an explanation, a breakdown of statistic, and also just a brief description about the trade of ASEAN. You know, for example, what is our FDI flow, our trade flow, and who are our biggest trade partners. So that's great, and apparently our biggest trade partners are among our ASEAN communities itself. It's not China or US.
That is surprising.
Yeah, so trade with your neighbors more. Talking about neighbors, especially the biggest economic pie in Southeast Asia, it would be Indonesia. So hopes on the economic upside in Indonesia is going up, especially Jokowi has taken up the challenge, saying last June that he aims to push the growth rate above 7%, a rate that would double Indonesia's income over the coming decade.
And Indonesia has of course been in the spotlight a lot more in a positive note since Jokowi took over the country. And one of the thing is of course in terms of attracting potential investors, because when the people believe in the current administration, in the current government, that gives hopes for people outside as well to come in and invest in the country. And another opportunity that they have is their huge number of their population in the country, and it seems their workforce and their population are two of their biggest strengths, and this means that it's not only possible but it's also necessary for the government to create more jobs for the people, because otherwise there will just be millions of people without a job, and unemployment will be another issue in the country.
That's definitely true. And another area that I think we should highlight more is how much pressure Jokowi is having to prove himself with the Indonesian people, because no doubt that Jokowi's success in his administration is in delivering the promise of his presidency on how he's able to manage Indonesia's economy. And it's a very tough job, no doubt about it, because since 10 years ago, which is Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono's administration, growth has been slowing, business costs are on the rise, and the list of policy weakness and economic vulnerabilities is too long actually, because there's a lot of structural issues within Indonesia that needs to be fixed. So for him to have this ambitious goal of increase growth rate to above 7%, there's a lot of work to do, it seems like.
It is, but you know what? I'm actually pretty positive that he can make it happen, because ever since he took over, he has been making a lot of positive changes, and that definitely instills confidence in him, even for people in other countries. So, and I think he's already proven himself that he's not just a man of words. He actually takes actions. He does his follow-up, and we do see a lot of changes being made in Indonesia, and this is something that would probably be quite possible as well.
I wish the change can be happening very, very soon, because the problem is a lot of people are observing that the problem with the government of Jokowi, he's quite strong in terms of his executive, the kind of people that he elected. If you look at the list of people that he chosen for his cabinet, is definitely quite a group strong of people. But when it comes to the parliamentary majority, he doesn't have it. It's controlled by his nemesis, Prabowo. So even if he wants to have major changes, especially structural policy changes, it would be a hard time for him, definitely.
But even then, I think the government can still do a great deal and for the country. Of course, the parliamentary support is important, but it's always good to have a certain amount of opposition as well. And also to look at the increase of fuel prices by the huge budget cost of subsidies, which he was also kind of notorious for wanting to slash the subsidies.
And we thought
in the
Najib was
country.
that bad. Wait until you see Jokowi when it comes to fuel subsidy cut. He was really courageous in making unpopular move, despite him being a very popular president. I think probably the most popular president since Suharto, it seems like.
And also another thing that he's giving priority to is the investment climate in the country, and that is also another strategic move that that brings in more business and will affect the country very, very positively.
So about economic again also is related to China and Thai pledge to have closer relations. When we think about Thailand, we don't necessarily think about China as its closest ally, because usually China would be more closer to its Indochina to the Indochina countries. So it has closer diplomatic relations and also economic relations with Myanmar, Cambodia, and all that. But when it comes to Thailand, they are actually trying their best to work on a more closer link relationship, especially this was being expressed at the Greater Mekong Sub-Region Economic Cooperation signing.
Yeah. This was not their first meeting. It seems it's actually the second time that Lee and Prayut is meeting in 3 days. And they have also witnessed the signing of agriculture and railway deals. It seems Thailand is having all this, reaching out for partnerships with all these other countries, especially to work together with those countries to improve the infrastructure in Thailand itself.
Lee is actually Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. She's the new Chinese Premier. So I mean, it's interesting to see how the leadership of China, in terms of its new Premier, what kind of direction that it wants to take. And in this case, I think China is looking at closer relationship with Southeast Asia, especially with the strengthening of relationship, not just bilateral relationship, but also in terms of ASEAN as a whole. We can see very closely with the RCEP itself.
And also hailing Thailand's role in promoting the China-ASEAN relationship. It seems Thailand is being given credit for doing their part in promoting this relationship. And they will also work together in terms of signing the China-ASEAN Treaty for friendly cooperation, and also upgrading the current China-ASEAN Free Trade Zone, as well as boosting maritime cooperation, which is another important aspect in this region, because we are surrounded by the sea, and a lot of maritime issues keep popping up every now and then. So it is definitely important for us to have a good China-ASEAN relationship.
Oh, definitely, it's very important. And I mean, it's also interesting to see like Prayut Chan-o-cha being the military leader turned prime minister. He's definitely quite well versed in his economic agenda. So being friends with China is definitely one of his key focus. One of the interesting part of this relationship is, of course, signing a China-ASEAN treaty. One of the interesting of this relationship is not just about Thailand and China, but also Thailand and ASEAN, as I mentioned earlier. It's important that China have full access of ASEAN free trade zone and vice versa with ASEAN towards China as well. And I'm looking forward to this, although, of course, as usual, there will be criticism in terms of other issues like human rights, like how they are going to deal with, manage all this huge scale of trade negotiation and trade relationship between all parties.
Definitely something that we're all looking forward to when it comes to the relationship between China and ASEAN. It's something that's very interesting because like I mentioned earlier about the maritime issue, we know that China has like a little issue with Philippines, with Vietnam, and some countries find them intimidating. So it's very important that we all come together and work together instead of being scared of other countries.
Being scared of other countries, I think
the bigger countries, yeah.
I think the only entity now that is really scared is probably Sony towards
North Korea.
towards North Korea. I think other countries would be like, yeah, we do want China, we don't care. And talking about Thailand itself, again, the military junta. This is not a new news, but it's something that is worth mentioning about how the junta is destroying democracy, enjoying exercising power. Generals postpone election before rigging them. This is crazy. I mean, this is not something new, but it's still crazy to even hear about it.
It is, especially on the verge of a new year. We want things to change for the better, and the fact that Thailand is still holding on to the same system, to the same laws that since the military junta took over. They have been trying to get an election in supposedly in October, but of course General Prayut Chan-o-cha has said that there will be no elections until he feels like there should be an election for the Thai people, and they.
That is like
and
a woman, man. Not that I'm saying he's a bad thing, but how can he just feel like it?
And he also said that he justified that by saying that it will happen whenever his side of the people are ready to give the people an elections, and until then they just have to make do with him and his people who are running the country at the moment.
Actually, the military is also worried about the future king. Sorry, it's not the future king, but the future of King Bhumibol. As you all know, he's very weak right now, and he's very, very old as well. And people are worrying that what's next after him? Will his successor be able to hold the kind of moral authority and high standard of governance in terms of royal governance to gain the respect of the Thai people? Because as we all know, for weeks after weeks, we also been highlighting this at Duran ASEAN. The Crown Prince of Thailand has been rigged with so many scandals, and he recently just divorced his third wife, and then he's planning to remarry or reunite with a fourth wife, which is crazy.
And it always goes back to the ruling elite, doesn't it? When it goes to them, they always call all the shots for the people, and most of the time they look at what's important to them first before they look at what's important to the people in the country. And this, of course, doesn't always work out well for the citizens in the country, because they are heading in a different direction and the government is heading towards a different direction, and they are trying to find a common ground, but it's not quite working yet, especially in Thailand.
Yes, and we know the worst thing is, at least according to this article by Forbes.com, is Prayut Chan-o-cha and his cronies, the reason why they are delaying all this election and democracy is also because they want to be in power. maybe not directly via a position in the cabinet, but more in terms of like they want to reap the benefits of being in power, perhaps economically and all. So that's the reason why they're still trying to find like who should be the successor of Thailand's
Yeah, they
leadership.
definitely don't want to let go of it altogether. They still somehow want to be involved with the administration and the operations in the country, which is why all these demonstrations are being banned. And we reported about how there cannot be a meeting more than 5 people. I think more than 5 people cannot get together. And then there's the Hunger Games. There's reading of Animal Farm and all this shows that how much people want their freedom and they want their democracy, but doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon.
You mean the kind of protests that
the
the
kind of
public
protest,
is
yes, that
showing?
yes.
Yes, and of course, prior to all this military took over of the leadership of Thailand's politics, we saw how the different shirts, the red shirt, the blue shirt, the yellow shirt, have been like somehow in conflict with each other, and Thailand's democracy seems to be, not going anywhere, and that's the sad part. Even though you might have democracy later on with the military, let go of their current position, are they going to be able to transform into a proper democracy like what we see in other Southeast Asian countries?
Well, we have to wish them all the best for the upcoming new year. Hopefully, things will take turn for a better. If not now, probably eventually, because the people are actually speaking out against it, although there are very harsh rules being imposed on them. So it can only work out for the better, I think.
And one thing that I want to highlight is the 12 core values of the military regime of Thailand that they are trying to impart within towards the younger generation of Thailand. Because to me, if that is what the government wants to emphasize, we reported this before, how the Thai military government are changing the mindset bit by bit of the Thai kids. So when you have an obedient citizen, probably in 10 years down the road, because that's where you can see the effect, it will definitely show a reality of a different sort of reality for Thailand, because Thailand has always been seen as a democracy that is to be admired, but now I don't think it is now.
It's definitely not anymore, and according to Doc Bando here in this article, he said that ultimately the Thailand's future can only be decided by their own people, and they have to do something to free themselves from all these childish authoritarians. It's an interesting term to use on them.
Interesting. So that's all from our news today. We will continue with the blast from the grassroots.
Yes, don't forget to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and we also have an Instagram account now.
Yes, we do. You can always check the latest photos from us. And of course, if you want to listen to us via your mobile phone, if you cannot access it via the internet, duanasian.com, you can always check us out at via your TuneIn app in your mobile phone. Just search for Duan ASEAN. That's all from our news commentary now.